Ever sit down to write a song and find yourself with no idea where to begin? Most players do, and when they do, they end up just noodling around waiting for something to hit. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you an approach that is most likely going to fast track your song, and this approach is actually quite fun to do because we're going to model our song after another good, successful song. Here's how the approach goes. Pick a song that you love. It could be of any style, and in fact, it doesn't even have to be in the same style that you are planning to write your song in. Let's say, for example, I'm going to say Baba O'Reilly from The Who. Great song, everyone probably knows that song to hear it. What we're going to do is we're going to take that song, we're going to deconstruct it and analyze it part by part and extract what I would call the musical DNA from it. And from there, we are going to model parts that we heard in The Who. We're going to model our parts to that and come up with our song. So here's an example. How does that song begin? It begins with a keyboard line, a repeating, repetitive 16th note keyboard line that repeats for quite a while in the intro, right? That sort of part there. So that's what The Who did for their intro. What we're going to do is borrow the idea from it and we're going to put it into our song, but we're going to come up with a different way to phrase that or characterize that. So their song's in the key of E. I'm going to say I want my song to be in the key of A. Let's just say. So I'm going to come up with a part that resembles the keyboard line in The Who. It's repetitive and goes on for a little while here. Let's see. Okay, simple enough. It's not straight 16th notes, there's a couple in there, but it's repetitive and it's setting the pace for the song like the keyboard line in Baba O'Reilly. So we're going to start with that. Okay, do that for a while, whether you have a keyboard player who can phrase that or not, or you do it on guitar, or if you have two guitar players, whatever. Then when the song kicks in, after a little bit, you're going to hear 3 chords. Now, you don't have to stick to just 3 chords or whatever, but let's characterize what those 3 chords remind us of. For me, it always sounded, when Baba O'Reilly kicked in, it always sounded very like triumphant. That's the word that always comes to mind, right? You hear, it just, there's something about, it's super simple, but there's something about when it kicks in over that repetitive line that just makes you go, yes, right? So let's come up with our version of that. In the key of A, so we've got a repetitive line. Maybe underneath that, or over top, I should say, I'll come up with now you'll notice I'm not copying exactly the same phrasing of the chords. We don't need to do that. We don't want to copy the song outright. We're just extracting the essence of it. It may even be something like that. Right? So imagine that over top of okay, and now we're rolling, right? Go back to the Who song, you're going to hear both of those parts for a while. In fact, they last through the entire verse until something changes, right? Now, you don't have to do this for an entire song. You don't have to take Baba O'Reilly or whatever song you choose. You don't have to go through every part of that song and literally model your thing after it. But I think if you use it for at least the first few parts, at least the parts that get the song moving, your own creative ideas may start falling in line. You may find your vision for that song kicking in automatically. But I went from no idea when I hit record on this camera, no idea of what I was going to come up with, and we ended up coming up with 2 parts very quickly. Instead of sitting there noodling, waiting for something to happen like so much of us do, and you know, I'm guilty of it too. Not anymore though. Instead of noodling for hours, I just went, let's pick a song that is successful and model our song after it. Now, just to clarify, by successful, I don't mean it has to have sold millions of copies worldwide. It doesn't have to be an international hit. Successful, in this case, to me, simply means I like it. It makes me want to listen to it again. To me, that's a successful song. Turns out, for The Who, that's a huge song, earned them millions of dollars for sure, just to be honest. But I picked that song because I liked the song. And we ended up with coming up with the cool parts just by modeling our stuff after it. Right? Now my song is well on its way. I might not need to borrow from The Who for the rest of the song. That I've set the template and I'm on my way. So this approach can be done with anything at all. In fact, if you took the Who song, which is, classic rock, and your intent is to write a metal song, like a really heavy tune, you can still use the Who song as your template, right? You can still use the idea of the intro being like a 16th note repetitive thing, and then, a handful of chords, maybe 2 or 3 that are just ring out and they're kind of like heavy sounding or majestic sounding. You can still apply that idea to any style of music that you happen to be playing and still get really, really good results. So give this idea a try. Think of a song that you really, really love. Don't think about it too much. The idea is to find something that hits you quickly, because then it's more likely to be something that you've lived with for a while and you truly do love. And then begin modeling your song after the basic parts, just by characterizing the sound. Like pretend you're describing the sound of that part to somebody. The way that you describe it, apply different notes and chords to it. Maybe change the key. Make sure it's not an exact copy, obviously. But I think you'll find that with that approach, you'll come up with your own ideas, but modeled after something else that has worked for other people. And that is going to lead to some pretty good stuff. So let me know what you think in the comments. Try this out, and I will catch you in the next video.